Welcome to Management and DevOps question examples based on AWS Data Engineer topics by abylead. We offer cloud service introductions, exam question explanations, and practicing of real exams. Question 1. Deploying code changes to EMR clusters requires an efficient pipeline. While Airflow and Code Deploy are unsuitable for EMR, CloudFormation involves unnecessary infrastructure provisioning. Optimal is Code Pipeline, automating the deployment process by fetching from code commit, building workflows with code build, and deploying to EMR clusters seamlessly. Question 2. You are tasked to establish an AWS CICD pipeline with infrastructure as code and 3 stages. GitHub, Travis CI, Ansible, and Elastic Beanstalk together aren't AWS integrated and require manual configuration. An AWS solution with GitLab, Code Build, and CloudFormation means manual ECS deployment. The same is true with manual AWS CLI scripting for Circle CI and Terraform. You best use CloudFormation and all 4 AWS DevOps services as pipeline. Question 3. How to enhance the CI/CD workflow of an ETL pipeline with GitHub and condition-based deployment. Code Deploy doesn't provide condition-based deployment strategies linked to GitHub events. Lambda to initiate deployment decisions is too complex without CI/CD capabilities. And Code Commit streamlines AWS integration but without GitHub and CI/CD deployment. The right choice is Code Pipeline with GitHub to orchestrate stages and actions for condition-based deployments. Question 4. You need to optimize code build resources and build time. Wrong is to optimize with a mix of on-demand and spot instances in same build project. Not better is batching of individual builds without dynamic resource allocation. And caching improves performance, but it doesn't affect compute resources. Best is to use code build's build spec file to adjust allocated build resources. Question 5. Which Git command should be used to update the local repository with latest changes? Don't use push, fetch, or commit. Instead, you use pull origin to fetch the repo's main branch changes. To finalize, you can merge it into the local main branch version. Question 6. Your data processing app in Python needs to programmatically interact with multiple AWS services. Not suitable at all is using Athon queries. Event-based RESTful API calls are error-prone and inefficient for internal processing, and CLI through system calls pose even a security risks. Correct is to use the SDK for Python Boto 3 to write software for the use of AWS services. Question 7. You need to create a repeatable deployment of data processing with EMR clusters, S3, and Lambda using infrastructure as code. Terraform is an IAC tool, but it's challenging to manage and update with a single file. CloudFront offers also IAC, but it's inefficient to handle inter-service dependencies. And Elastic Beanstalk is suited for app deployment. Most correct, CDK simplifies management of complex configs and dependencies as it's required for integrated environments with EMR, S3, and Lambda. Question 8. For a Glue ETL job, you have to identify the performance issues not based on data volumes or complexity. Of the 4 proposals, Parquet format, job bookmarks, and larger Glue job memory improve performance and important to know. But they don't identify the root cause. Correct is to analyze CloudWatch metrics and logs for insights about job time, errors, retries, or stages causing bottlenecks. Hold on a minute. If you like this channel and its free content to continue, please subscribe it on the right bottom button. Question 9. How to accomplish an app performance monitoring solution with alerts. Kinesis data streams and AWS config are relevant to know, but they don't monitor performance. And Amazon SES sends emails for business but not for monitoring services. The right answer is to use CloudWatch to track metrics and to set alarms for messaging via SNS event distribution. Question 10. You need to detect performance issues with an AWS service to most efficient analyze CloudWatch logs. First, OpenSearch isn't integrated with CloudWatch, and EMR isn't just an analysis tool. With Lambda you can inefficient customize a solution. For CloudWatch log analysis, you best use CloudWatch Logs Insights for fast ad hoc queries and troubleshooting. Question 11. What is the first step to troubleshoot peak demand delays of a 4-sharded Kinesis data streaming? Using a compact record format or changing stream retention period both don't provide performance insights. Also, increasing the shards solves throughput limits. First you need to know the cause. Best is to verify stream's reception rate or processing delays with the Kinesis iterator age milliseconds metrics in CloudWatch. Question 12. Due to timeouts of a data transformation with Python script on EC2 instances, you have to optimize its scaling. First, replacement with auto-scaled Lambda or a script optimization isn't required. And a larger instance size relieves peak load issues, but it slows down scaling and leads to over-provisioning. You are best advised to monitor CPU utilization with CloudWatch alarms to trigger actions when utilization is too high. Combined with a dynamic auto-scaling policy, overloading by scaling out in time for increased demand isn't an issue anymore. Question 13. You have diagnose and solve a large volume pipeline with sporadically failing Glue jobs on data shuffling and high DPU load. With Redshift Spectrum you can't identify the bottlenecks. Also, step functions orchestration or more DPUs don't solve performance issues related to job design and execution. To identify the cause, job logs provide process errors and job metrics in CloudWatch identifies inefficiencies. Finally, streamlining ETL scripts generally reduces shuffling and improved partitioning solves performance degradation. Question 14. Which access solution ensures and tracks specific user access to sensitive data used in S3, RDS, Redshift, and DynamoDB? Both VPC or client-side in-transit encryption don't provide the AWS services at rest encryption. In addition, Lambda for monitoring is non-standard and AWS Inspector doesn't provide monitoring. You restrict access with IAM, with KMS SSE you encrypt data at rest, and with CloudTrail you track API calls on the account level. Question 15. Although CloudTrail tracks API calls related to EC2 and RDS, you need a centralized auditing to cost-effective query and review log history. Athena sounds ideal, but it doesn't log directly API calls and CloudWatch can't store long-term logs. Also, Glue with QuickSight is for ETL processes not for auditable logging. More efficient is to use CloudTrail's Lake feature providing optimized and centralized solution for query analytics and long TRM storing CloudTrail logs. Question 16. You have to propose a service without adding costs to store configurations and parameters for Lambda functions and CloudFormation. Lambda itself unsuitable for many parameters and environments. Secrets Manager is too rigid for processing and DynamoDB requires a custom solution. In fact, SSM parameter store integrates with Lambda and CloudFormation without additional costs. Question 17. Storing health documents are regulated to be regional restricted. You have to find a method to apply this to S3, RDS, and EBS in your global enterprise. But S3 cross-region replication or regional AWS backups aren't on organization level and drop out. And data sync transfers but doesn't restrict regional storages. The proper method are the organization-wide service control policies for any service and region. With the understanding of management and DevOps for data engineers, you are ready now for more details. We wish you further insights with abylead videos.